Welcome. You're here now, in a calm place. Let the weight of your day melt into the quiet hush of history. Let your breath slow, and your body grow heavy beneath your blanket, as we journey far back in time, to a small familiar corner of the Roman Empire, not to the marble palaces of emperors, not to the battlefields or grand amphitheaters, but to a simple street, lined with clay walls and tiled rooftops, where the air still smells faintly of fresh olive oil, and the stones beneath your feet have been worn smooth by sandals. Here we'll follow the gentle rhythm of a man whose days begin before the sun, a humble Roman baker, living in Pompeii, in the quiet years before time would freeze that city forever. But tonight, it's still whole, and still sleepy. And you are standing beside the bakery's doorway. It's very early. The stars have only just begun to fade. You might hear the gentle sweep of a broom or the occasional sleepy coo of a pigeon. The air is cool, a little damp, but soft, the kind of morning that asks for warmth. Inside the shop, our baker is already awake. He has no name in the history books, but let's call him Gaius. A kind man in his 40s, with flour always dusting his elbows, and laugh lines around eyes that have squinted into many ovens. His family sleeps quietly in the back room, wife, daughter, and a small curled-up dog who dreams of chasing something. But Gaius is already at work. And you, dear listener, are welcome to sit and watch. He starts by kneeling beside the fornax, the large, round oven made of dark volcanic stone. It resembles a sleeping beast, its mouth open and wide, waiting for fire. And so, Gaius builds it carefully. A pyramid of olive wood logs, stacked with the precision of someone who's done this all his life. He lights it with a small oil lamp. And soon the fire crackles gently. The scent of burning olive wood begins to fill the air. Soft smoke curls toward a small chimney, dancing as it rises. Gaius stretches his arms, and for a moment, just listens to the warmth grow, the sound of wood popping, the early whispers of wind brushing against the clay walls outside. And somewhere in the distance, a bell. One of the city's water clocks signaling the slow climb of time. But there's no rush here, only rhythm, only repetition, only the calm ritual of bread. Now, he reaches for the sack of flour, a heavy canvas bag filled with ground emmer wheat. It's coarse, ancient, the kind of grain the Romans preferred for their panis. With practiced hands, Gaius pours it into a wide clay bowl. Scoop by scoop, dust rising like clouds in the warm, firelit air. Then, a pinch of salt, a ladle of water, and slowly, the mixing begins. Squish, squish, pat, fold, press. His hands know the dough before his mind even wakes. You might smell it now, the sharpness of grain, the salt of his skin, the gentle burn of wood. As you listen, your breathing matches his movements. Calm, measured, unhurried. He hums to himself now, a small tune, one his grandmother taught him, back when she baked in a clay oven outside the city walls. Soon, the dough is soft and elastic, like the belly of a sleeping cat. He sets it aside beneath a damp cloth to rest, and in the silence, you can almost hear the yeast waking up. The fire in the fornax is steady now. Its glow warms the small shop like a hearth. Not too hot, not too wild, just enough. Gaius, our gentle baker, steps back to the long wooden table, where his dough has rested. The cloth is lifted. The surface glistens faintly, like river stone after a soft rain. And the scent, it's subtle but comforting, that quiet, earthy smell of rising bread. Outside, the dark blue of night begins to soften. Somewhere, a rooster calls, not proudly, but sleepily. And the birds too are waking, one by one, chirp, chirrup, tweet, as if the sky is stretching. Gaius begins shaping the loaves. Not hurried, no. Each one is an act of care. He cuts the dough into equal pieces, using a dull bronze blade passed down from his father. Then, gently, he folds and rounds each one. There's the panis quadratus, that square bread with deep scoring lines, meant to be divided easily. Some say it was designed this way for sharing. Others say it helped ration the bread for soldiers or slaves. But Gaius doesn't think much about it. He just knows the marks feel familiar beneath his hands. Beside him, a few small loaves are prepared for the children. Soft, round, with honey drizzled on top. Treats for later. For now, he places the formed dough onto wooden trays one by one, then covers them with cloths again, letting them rise just a little more. The bakery is quiet, only the sound of the oven's breath, and the rustle of linen, and the creak of wicker baskets stacked along the wall. Outside, the sky brightens. It's not yet sunrise, but the edges of the rooftops glow faintly with gold. A soft wind moves through the alley, bringing with it the faintest smell of sea air from the distant harbor. Now, a tiny shuffle. Little footsteps. The first to wake is Lucia, Gaius's daughter. She peeks around the curtain, eyes still heavy with dreams. A wool blanket draped around her shoulders like a toga. "Papa?" Gaius smiles. He doesn't say much. He rarely does before the sun. But he lifts her gently onto a stool near the oven, wraps the blanket tighter around her. She watches, still half asleep, as he slides the first tray of dough into the oven. Not rushed, just a long-handled peel, gently resting the loaves in the glow. The wood crackles softly, and the scent of baking bread begins to fill the shop. Warm, sweet, ancient. Lucia leans her head against the wall, eyes closing again. She knows the rhythm. She's heard it since she was born. The oven breathes, the bread rises, and the world begins to wake. Gaius returns to the table. He takes a small bit of leftover dough, just enough to make a panis minor, a tiny loaf, just for her. He shapes it like a bird, a quiet little dove, places it on a warm tile near the fire. So it will bake faster. So it will be waiting for her when she wakes again. And the world outside slowly shifts. A wheel turns on a distant cart. A door opens down the street. Somewhere a fountain begins to trickle with fresh water. But here, inside the bakery, time is soft, and the light is golden, and the bread rises like the sun. The air now carries a new scent, a richer, deeper warmth. Fresh bread kissed by flame, crust forming gently, the inside still soft. In the small shop, Gaius brushes flour from his hands. The loaves are almost ready, some for soldiers, some for merchants, some for the woman who sells flowers at the forum. Lucia is asleep again, curled like a kitten on her stool. The tiny dove-shaped loaf, golden and steaming, rests near her. Outside, Rome is waking, but not in a rush. Not yet. The first sounds are soft and scattered. A bucket lowered into a well, the low call of a street vendor preparing his stall, the creak of wagon wheels echoing against stone walls. Gaius opens the wooden shutters. Not all the way, just enough. The morning air slips in, cool and full of possibility. A few passers-by glance in. Most keep walking, but one, an old man in a cloak, steps through the doorway. "Salve, Gaius," he murmurs. His voice is thin like parchment, yet kind. Gaius nods with a smile and gestures toward a fresh round loaf. The same loaf he's bought every morning since the baker can remember. He pays in coin and steps outside again, slowly, cane tapping the stones. A short while later, a young woman appears. She carries a basket covered in linen, and her sandals scuff softly as she walks. Her name is Claudia, and she comes for bread and for news. "Any sign of rain today?" she asks gently. Gaius shrugs, then glances at the small square of sky above, clear as polished bronze. "Not today," he says. They share a quiet moment as the sun finally crests the rooftops, turning terracotta tiles into golden mirrors. Inside, the oven crackles softly. Lucia stirs. A low bell rings in the distance, a slow rhythmic sound. The bell from the baths, calling the water drawers to their morning shift. Gaius listens to it without thought. It's just part of the city's breath, like the coo of pigeons above, or the faint splash of the aqueduct nearby. More footsteps pass outside. Rome is stirring, but gently. A boy rushes past the bakery with a basket of dates. 2 goats bleat from behind a wooden gate. A group of young students recite Latin verses under their breath as they walk to their teacher's home. Inside the shop, the second batch of loaves is ready to go in, and Gaius does as he always does. Slides the hot, fragrant bread from the oven, carefully sets it on woven reed mats, then gently lifts the next tray in. Steam rises. The fire sighs. The rhythm continues. Lucia is fully awake now, nibbling her bird-shaped loaf, crumbs on her chin, eyes still dreamy. She watches the dance of shadows on the wall as the sun continues to rise. The scent of bread, the sound of crackling wood, the soft hush of the waking street. It's all just part of the story of her life. A life shaped gently, loaf by loaf. And in that calm, golden hour, before the rush, before the noise, Gaius and his small family and their little corner of Rome exist in perfect stillness. The morning sun rests gently over the rooftops now, spilling golden light down the narrow lanes. The bakery is quiet behind Gaius, the oven cooling, the day's first loaves already sold. He steps outside with his small cart, wheels creaking softly, the wood worn smooth by years of use. Each loaf wrapped in linen, still warm to the touch. The air carries hints of rosemary, figs, and soft, trailing incense from a nearby shrine. Lucia waves sleepily from the doorway. She will sweep the floor, gather kindling, and maybe feed crumbs to the birds who wait hopefully near the steps. Gaius begins his slow walk through the winding streets. There is no rush. The bread will arrive when it does. He passes a stone wall covered in ivy, where a small fountain trickles quietly. A woman fills her jug, and they exchange a gentle nod. No words, just the shared rhythm of routine. As he enters the edge of the marketplace, he sees familiar faces. The potter Aria is already arranging her bowls in neat circles, each one glazed in soft blues and greens. Next to her, an older man strings dried herbs above his stall, their scent floating like a whisper, thyme, lavender, maybe mint. The cobblestones beneath Gaius's feet are still cool. He pauses at a crossroad, letting a man with a donkey pass by slowly, the donkey's hooves tapping like distant raindrops. A bell rings faintly from the temple steps. A call to prayer, but only a soft one, meant for no one in particular. He finally reaches his first stop, an older woman named Livia, who runs a small tavern near the baths. She greets him with a smile deep with age, hands dusted with flour, though she no longer bakes herself. "You've brought them warm, haven't you?" she says in a voice like wind through reeds. Gaius nods and unwraps 3 round loaves. Steam escapes like a sigh. She breathes in the scent with her eyes closed. He stays a while, long enough for a sip of watered wine and to listen to her stories he's heard many times, but always enjoys. Then he's off again, weaving gently through the market's quiet maze, past the olive seller who hums as he works, past the basket weaver, her fingers moving like water over reeds, past a group of boys rolling a wooden hoop, laughing softly, voices never rising too high. The whole scene is like a moving painting, colors, scents, and quiet laughter all blending. The warmth of the bread is slowly fading, but the warmth in his chest remains. Not from pride, not from fortune, but from the simple comfort of doing something that has mattered every day, for generations. And so the cart rolls on. The bread is delivered, one soft smile at a time. And the city, the ancient, breathing city, welcomes another day in peace. The sky above Rome begins to soften. Golds melt into rose and rose into the tender blues of dusk. Gaius returns home quietly, his wooden cart now light, nearly empty. Only a few stray crumbs remain, and the scent of bread still lingers, woven into the folds of linen. He places the cart by the garden wall, where ivy curls over terracotta pots, and fig leaves whisper gently in the evening breeze. The street is quieter now. The market has closed. The stone pathways carry only faint footfalls. Slow, tired, familiar. Inside, the oven hums with a gentle warmth. Its fire long gone, but its stones still hot. Lucia is curled near the hearth, her head resting on a folded cloak, her cheeks glowing from the warmth of the day. A clay oil lamp flickers on the table, casting golden shadows across the walls, long, soft shapes that dance but never rush. The last loaves of the day rest in a basket, covered in cloth, ready for tomorrow's breakfast. Gaius takes one, breaks it gently in half, and shares a piece with Lucia as she stirs. Outside, the sounds of the city fade into background hush. The soft rustle of laundry on a line, a distant lute played lazily, the echo of a fountain murmuring in the square. Even the pigeons on the rooftop have gone still. The baker's hands are tired now, but it's a good kind of tired. The kind that settles into your bones like warmth from the oven. The kind that reminds you that your place in the world is small, but steady. He pours a little water into a cup, drinks slowly, wipes his hands with a cloth. There's no need for words. Not now. The fire gives one last faint crackle, a sleepy sigh, and the light in the oven fades to soft orange. Lucia leans against him, her breathing slow, steady, calm. The city, too, begins to sleep. Shutters close, oil lamps dim, the stars begin to scatter above the hills. Gaius watches the sky for a moment, then rises and gently carries his daughter to her cot, tucks the woolen blanket around her as she drifts back into dreams. Dreams of flour and warmth, and doves made of bread. He returns to his bench, folds his hands, and listens to the silence. Rome is quiet now, still strong, still proud, but gentle in the arms of night. And there, in the heart of that timeless city, a baker rests, a man who has done what he needed to do. Nothing more, nothing less. The oven cools, the stars watch, and the world, slowly, sweetly, sleeps.